Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, sharpshooters. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. My name is Deadshot, host of Warframe Mornings over on Twitch. And today we are back at it again with another build video for our latest addition to the Warframe collection, the devil-based Warframe himself, Uriel. And this build video today is not going to feature just one build, no. It is going to be 3 different builds. One based around dealing damage with his abilities, one built around dealing damage with his guns, and one based around dealing damage with his companions. All of which are about as min-max as they can get. Starting off strong with the ability build, we're going to be rocking corrosive projection in the aura slot, reduce the armor of our enemies. Primed sure-footed for the 100% chance to resist knockdown and staying on our feet. Blind rage for the extra ability strength. Equilibrium for the health to energy and energy to health conversions. Precision intensified to help take the damage of our 4th even further. Primed continuity for the ability duration to help keep up the duration of our 4, 3, and our 1. Archon vitality for that extra health and that extra fire damage proccing. Overextended gives us extra ability range and is going to give us a negative ability strength, which is going to be counteracted by both augmented arcane power ramp and that blind rage. Stretch is going to be our ability range and take that range a little bit further. Finally, primed flow for the energy pool. Moving on to the arcanes, we are going to go with arcane power ramp because we will be alternating the abilities that we will be casting so that we can build that extra 36% ability strength. And mold augmented for that 60% ability strength bonus at 250 kills. Now, moving on to his passive. This is what's going to give us our 3 demons. We have Catnitch, which snares and slows enemies, chaining them together and distributing the damage dealt. Galfagor, which latches onto foes and dealing damage over time. And if killed, the Circle of Pain is spawned, which will be affected by ability range. And Vithalas, I don't know how to say that one, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Inscribes demonic runes upon fallen foes and add fire rate and heat damage when collected. Very important part of Uriel's kit. This will help take your damage a little bit further and it'll give you that extra fire rate. Moving on to his first, this sets yourself on fire, gives you the ability to fly if you tap your dodge roll while in the air, and creates an aura around you that inflicts fire upon enemies as you go by them. This is also the same ability that is attached to your Catnitch, which gives you the slowing of your enemies. Remdium, his 2, is going to heal himself and his demons. So that's going to help you keep Galfagor up a little bit more often, as Galfagor can also help you gain health and energy orb drops. And that 400 and 158% ish is going to be taken further once we have our arcanes active. And then Demonium is going to be his 3. This is going to be where he drains the health of his 3 demons, but those souls will then seek out enemies, inflict fire upon them, and basically make them more vulnerable to damage. This is also the same one that will give you those runes that you can pick up for that fire rate and extra burn damage. And finally, moving on to his 4, Brimstone. This is going to create an AoE, changing the ground, making it basically a pool of lava, and setting all of your enemies on fire. And that burn damage is going to scale with consecutive hits. And that can go up to 10 times damage. So you're going to be hitting a lot of enemies really hard in a very big area. It's going to be great. Alright, so that's going to be the first of the Uriel builds. For the primary selection on this, we are going to be rocking with the Miter. Can be your very basic build. The only mods that actually matter here are going to be neutralizing justice. Each miter blade has a chance to destroy nullifier fields, and that's basically the primary purpose of having the miter, just so that we don't have to deal with those pesky little nullifier bubbles. Amalgam serration for the extra sprint speed, because Uriel loves sprint speed. Then vigilante armament and split chamber for the extra multi-shot, because that'll help you guarantee that neutralizing justice procs and destroys those nullifier bubbles. And you can rock things like prime shred and speed trigger for that extra fire rate. And I have elementalist on here just for the extra punch through. Moving on to my secondary of choice, the beautiful, glorious dual coda Torxikas. These weapons are one of my favorites to use. Typical build that you've seen before. Prime Convulsion for the electric damage. Hornet Strike for your base damage multiplier. Lethal Torrent for your fire rate and multi-shot. Creeping Bullseye for your critical chance. Pistol Elementalist for status damage and reload speed. Magnetic Might for critical damage and magnetic damage. Merciless Gunfight for more critical damage and some more punch through. And Galvanized Diffusion for the extra multi-shot. Prime Steady Hands for that lack of recoil so that our bullets go straighter. And finally, Conjunction Voltage for that extra reload speed and further multi-shot. And of course, the unique trait of the dual coda Torxikas, which is part of the reason why I love them so much, is that they spread cold spores on the death of the enemies that are killed with them, and additional shots infected to those enemies that are affected by those orbs will receive extra damage. And the thing that we are going to be using for all three of the builds today is going to be the Praedos, as this is going to be giving us extra sprint speed, slide, and parkour velocity as his first ability to fly scales off of parkour speed. So the Praedos is going to be your best friend with that particular evolution. So without further ado, we're going to take him over to Lua. If I could aim that little tiny crosshair onto that. And we're going to rep it into Steel Path, where there is absolutely nothing going on. We love that, so we are going to go just into the regular Circulus, the highest level mission in the game. Levels 180 to 200, or 200 to 205 if you are doing a relic mission, which is kind of what I would prefer to do, but it's fine, it's all dandy.
Each enemy is more powerful than before. Only with true mastery.
Alright, so we're gonna start by casting our one. Let's go set them on fire.
The Orican Neural Sentry is attempting to purge you from
Alright, we already got a rune. That's gonna help build our 4. We're gonna cast 3, cast 2, and that's basically gonna be your pattern of play. It's gonna be a lot of cast 2 or cast 3, cast 2 to heal. And you can build kills really quickly. Cast 2, cast 3. And now we have our 4 active. It can be a little bit annoying to have to build and reuse, but once you use it, everything that comes anywhere near this is now going to be dead. And that's kind of what I love about it. I find it to be a lot of fun that you can basically just disintegrate the entirety of the battlefield. Take a quick moment, take a look at the abilities, and see that we're doing a lot more with each. Because we are being buffed by both of our arcanes. Like, I keep wanting to say Archon Intensify as well, but I'm not using Archon Intensify. However, that is a perfectly viable option for anybody that might want to use it, as the healing effect from his 2 is going to be giving you all kinds of wonderful effects. And then we're just going to hit that nuke button again. And watch all the glorious kills stack up all over again. As long as you're picking up runes regularly and getting kills consistently, you will be able to consistently trigger his 4 over and over and over again. It might not be spammable, and I just messed up. May not be spammable. But it is definitely a good old, what I like to refer to as a good oh shit button. You're about to die, you're overwhelmed by enemies, and you have it built up. You just hit it and you can disappear effectively. And you can mix it up too, right? You can hit your 3 and your 1, 3 and your 2. Your 4 and your 3, although that seems kind of pointless considering that once you hit your 4, you're not gonna have anything near you for a little while, as we have a 35-meter radius on our 4, which is pretty massive. Gives us 70 meters total from one end to another. Which covers a lot of area.
Are scanning for targets. The sentient is onto you. Look out for troopers.
All right, 40 more seconds. We're gonna get out of here. Yeah, very spammable. It's a very fun Warframe. And we already built our 4 again. And we're gonna have a little bit of fun with Mania, I think. Like, yeah.
The longer you hold out, the deeper I can search. But if you need to leave, extraction is ready. These manifestations,
take these guys out real quick because they're annoying.
Neural sentry. Destroy them.
Where the fuck?
They are drawing from your life support.
I don't even know how much I care, but I'm gonna, I guess, care anyways. There we go, finally. Holy shit. Okay. Light everything on fire, and we are going to dip with our lovely fire ability, provided I know how to fly, which I don't, but that's beside the point.
Tenno, if you have a necromech, this would be an excellent place to deploy it.
And that flight only lasts for the entirety of the duration of your first. Now moving on to build number 2, as well as the choice of Archon shards, which we will go over on our way to the arsenal. Our Archon shards of choice are going to be 1 Tau Forged Blue for that energy capacity, just to help push his energy pool a little bit further. Helps me maintain my abilities a little bit more, especially in those moments where you have, you know, a bit of a lackluster energy production. It happens. 2 red Archon shards for ability Strength, which will end up being Tau Forged. And then 2 yellows for that casting speed, as Uriel desperately needs casting speed.
Need any fixing up?
All right. On to build number 2. It's going to be guns blazing over here. Haha, I am funny. For this, I meant to rock the Soma Prime, as we have the Incarnate on that and other things. For the build on our companion setup, which is also on the wrong setup, we are going to be going with Combat Discipline in our Aura mod this time around. You're going to lose 10 health on kill, but heal your teammates for 20 health. That does not matter as much. Although I do believe that also accounts for your demons, so that is beneficial in and of itself. Prime Sure-Footed, resist chance for knockdowns. Oh, once again, the staple mod of all experienced Warframe builds. Blind Rage for that extra ability strength and that negative ability efficiency. Constitution for the knockdown recovery, which doesn't really matter, but we're here for the ability duration. Prime Continuity for more ability duration. Transient Fortitude for further ability strength, and it's going to reduce our ability duration a little bit further, which is why we're running 156%. Archon Vitality once again, because it will double the procs of our heat procs that we apply with our abilities. Stretch for ability range. Primed Flow for the energy pool capacity. And Equilibrium for that health to energy and energy to health. Arcane Avenger is going to be our first choice of arcanes, as we are going to have a 21% chance upon damaging ourselves to have a 45% chance increase for our crits. I know how to speak. And we are also going to continue the theme of Molt Augmented, as it's going to be giving us that 60% at 250 kills. Very importante. And this time we are going to be using a Helmness swap and removing his 4th in favor of Sentient Wrath. This is going to suspend our enemies and make them even more vulnerable to damage. So this is going to take the weapons, this is going to take the damage of our weapons that much further. And real quick, we are going to go over our companion of choice for all 3 builds, and that's going to be our Panzer Vulpaphyla, aka the Destroyer of Worlds. We're going to start out with our basic utility Vulpaphyla build, Synth Fiber and Synth Deconstruct.
Check navigation.
I'd appreciate if you didn't interrupt me, Margulus. That'd be great. Synth Fiber and Synth Deconstruct for the health production and the ability to pick up health orbs regardless of your health conditions. Martyr Symbiosis to help prevent you from having skill issues. Sharpened Claws for that armor strip. Panzer De-Evolution to help maintain the uptime of our Panzer Vulpaphyla. Viral Quills, which will be our viral procking. Fetch, which is going to increase our range of pickup. Tenacious Bond for that final critical damage multiplier. Animal Instinct for loot and enemy radar. And then Resourceful Retriever for those resource pickups. On to the claws real quick. We're going to be running Bite for the crit chance and crit damage. Radon Claws for the critical damage. Bloodthirst for the health steal for our companion. magnetic claws for the status duration, and that's also going to help increase the duration of the viral procs that are going to be procced. Frost jaw for the cold. Precision conditioning for the extra melee damage and converting to slash damage. Call the weak gives us extra damage on non-crits. And swipe increases attack range by 2 meters. Although now that I think about it, that doesn't even make sense. Well, no, it still does, because we're doing it for the top portion of this, which is 60% melee damage per status type affecting the target, which I don't know if that has a cap right now off the top of my head, but I'm sure somebody will figure it out one day and probably tell me that it's a cap of like 2 or 3, which wouldn't surprise me, in all honesty. So that was our companion of choice. I believe the first one actually had Alucard, but we've seen my Alucard before. All right. Oh, and now we do have the conjunction survival mission in a relic form. Beautiful. So we're going to be repping that. And you know what? While we're at it, why don't we grab an Ember relic?
The art of combat must be practiced to truly master the canvas of war.
Watch
And
out.
yes, my Soma
I'm
Prime does
detecting void
indeed
fissures
have an
nearby.
incarnate on it.
Do you have a matching relic? The Orican Neural Sentry is attempting to
And once
purge
again,
you
it's
from
going to be a
this
similar
place.
playstyle where
Stand
we're going
by
to be
for
trying
life
to
support.
basically spam our 3 and our 2 in
A fissure.
succession.
Defend yourself and use reactant to open relics.
Build that burn damage on our enemies. Build up damage on our Soma. Build up crit chance on our Soma. And do things like that where we can suspend the enemies in the air and make them take even more damage.
You are going to need more reactant if you want to open that relic.
Your other choices for arcane can also include the one that increases fire rate, but I feel like with the picking up of the runes, you're not going to need to, as it gives you, as you can see, more than enough fire rate to compensate for the fire rate of the Soma as it is. This one involves a lot of spamming of Sentient's Wrath, which is going to suspend the enemies in the air and make them more vulnerable to damage.
The relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
And you can see as time goes on, the ability and strength increases, and as that increases, so does our fire rate when we pick up the runes. And should you even do it right with the Soma Prime over here, you can even bypass the reload animation as long as you're scoring headshots. You can basically bypass the entire reload animation by just getting headshots and transforming the weapon. As this is going to be a headshot build anyways. Obviously we need a little bit of a Sentient's Wrath over here. And they just drop like flies. They also then become also much more vulnerable to your 3.
If they scan you, sentient fighters won't be far behind. The sentient is onto you. Look out for troopers.
Furthermore, if you heal with his second and you do not have any health to replenish, as in i.e. you are full health, it will then be returned to you as overshields. And I will show y'all the builds for the Soma Prime afterwards.
The deeper I can search. But if you need to leave, extraction is ready.
Hey, we got a Caliban Prime blueprint. Oh, and we're also rocking a different secondary as well for this build, and this secondary will be featured on both this build and the next showcase as well.
Unless they are destroyed.
Okay, this time I don't care.
As you conquer the foe, so you conquer yourself.
All right. And really quickly, we're going to go over the build for the Soma Prime. As this is going to be, as I said before, a primarily headshot build. Starting out with the Galvanized Aptitude for that status chance and direct damage for 2 stacks. Critical Delay for critical chance. Hada Satya for more critical chance. And I have a Riven for increased damage and punch through. If you don't have a Riven, you should probably run Hammer Shot. That's what I had in this slot before I got the Riven. Galvanized Scope for that critical chance on headshot and on headshot kill. Vital Sense for more crit damage. Malignant Force for that toxin and that increase in damage and status chance. And then Primary Acuity for weak point damage and weak point critical chance. But multi-shot cannot be modified, which is why we are not running any form of multi-shot. And then we're also running Primary Deadhead as our source of base damage. On headshot kill, 120% more damage for 24 seconds, stacks 3 times, and adds to the headshot multiplier and reduces weapon recoil. Although that still does not seem to help. I still need to get myself the primed whatever it is for recoil for primaries. Then the build for our secondary is going to be a very basic status-based build for the new core. Ice Storm for the magazine capacity and cold. Magnetic Might for more crit damage and the magnetic damage. Pistol Pestilence for the toxin damage to make viral. Amalgam Barrel Diffusion for the dodge speed and extra multi-shot, although the dodge speed is really what we're after. Galvanized Shot for the status chance and direct damage. Extra beam range, damage and duration, and energy to shield conversion. Then Lethal Torrent for more fire rate. And Cascadia Overcharge for extra critical chance, which affects pretty much everything. The Prairie Dose we've gone over, and Destroyer of Worlds we've gone over. Okay. Moving on to the third and final Uriel build. This is going to be the build based around his demons. For the build, we're going to be running Summoner's Wrath in the aura so that we have 75% more companion and summon damage. That's going to help take the damage of our demons a little bit further. Prime Sure-Footed, once again, staple of the builds. Resist knockdown, stay on your feet, keep doing damage. Blind Rage for more ability strength, minus the efficiency. Constitution again for that ability duration. Transient Fortitude for that ability strength and the negative ability duration. Archon Intensify. This is where we will be rocking this one, and this is going to give us 30% more ability strength when restoring health. And 30% ability strength on its own. Archon Vitality to double the heat procs again. Stretch for the ability range. Equilibrium for the energy to health and health to energy, and then Primed Flow for the capacity. Our arcanes, multi-augmented, we've seen before, but we're also going to be utilizing Arcane Camisado, which will give us up to 20% more ability strength on the next ability cast, and summons will gain 20% more movement speed. And minions have to kill in order for you to gain that stacking ability strength. And for our primary of choice, we're just gonna rock the Cedo Prime. There's really not a whole lot that I could think of that would be beneficial to this build, as you are going to be primarily trying to do damage with your companions and trying to stay alive that way. But we'll see how that goes. Shotgun Savvy for the status chance on kill and for the status chance and on kill direct damage. Magnetic Strife for magnetic and fire rate. Shotgun Barrage for fire rate and revive speed, although the revive speed is only useful in co-op conditions. Chilling Reload for more cold and reload speed. Primed Ravage for crit damage. Galvanized Hell for the extra multi-shot. Chilling Grasp for the cold damage, and Toxic Barrage for the toxin and status chance, giving us that good old viral status. We're also going to be utilizing Primary Frostbite, although now I don't know why I'm using that. So that's fine. Do that. We'll do Vendetta. And then yeah, the new core we went over. Our Helmness swap, that's what I forgot. Our Helmness swap is going to be Breach Surge. This hopefully is going to help take the damage of our companions further beyond what that 300 and no, it's going to be somewhere closer to like 420% ability strength. And then we will have Breach Surge, which is also then going to make them deal 6 times more damage to the enemies affected by Breach Surge. So this is going to be a very fun configuration to play around with. And once again, we are going to be running Circulus in that Fissure Survival. Attempt to get ourselves one more Ember piece while we're here. Try and kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
These foes deserve your respect. Honor them with quick deaths, and I will do a victory.
There are void fissures in the area. Use these to crack open a relic.
All
A
right.
fissure. Defend yourself and
Now
use
we're gonna
reactant
quickly
to open
build
relics.
our energy. Hopefully,
The Orican Neural Sentry is attempting to purge you from this place. Stand by for life
we
support.
could get. Okay. All right. Now we're being surrounded on all sides. Lovely.
Use that reactant to open a relic. The reactant is working on your relic. Find more.
And for this one, we're just gonna spam Resurge and our 3. Once we have the energy to spam it. But yeah, his companions can also deal a ton of damage on their own. I thought I'd put this configuration together just for the fun factor. And it's definitely proving to be exactly that.
You've collected enough reactant to open your relic.
Quick. 95% slow, 5,000 damage. Wow, over 1,000% extra health orb drops. And a 7 times damage multiplier. So his companions can definitely do some work as well. And then with it, you can occasionally get killed with the Cedo or prime enemies. And at this point, it becomes very easy to stay topped up on energy, on your health. So everything basically just becomes extra. And I also chose the Cedo for this configuration just to give us a little bit of weapon variety. I don't want to be using the miter and the energy cannon for every single build that I do. So we might as well showcase some of the other good weapons in this game as well. So this shotgun could also probably benefit from some recoil reduction on it. Oh, violence. I love you. I want to deal with you today.
Those oculists are scanning for targets.
Get out of here.
Sentient has detected you. Fighters incoming.
Plus, of course, you always need something to deal with the acolytes when you're doing steel path missions.
The longer you hold out, the deeper I can search.
Beautiful. All right, let's
You need
get
to leave.
out of here.
Extraction is ready.
Another Caliban Prime blueprint. We love it.
Void manifestations, drawn to this cursed place of stolen lives. They will drain your life support unless they are destroyed. Tenno, if you have a necromech, this would be an excellent place to deploy it.
Oh, I forgot that I could do that. Okay. We do that. We do terrible parkour. Got it. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's okay. Just do that and call it a day.
They fought well. Good dance, all.
Awesome. Well, that is my take on Uriel, the double-based warframe that has recently been introduced. I do hope y'all enjoyed. I do hope that you do take these builds and try them out for yourselves. Let me know what you think, if which one fits your playstyle. And if you're enjoying the warframe, if you're enjoying Uriel, let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, leave a like on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see further content and more of these build videos. Without further ado, have a good one, folks.